So what happens if you want to delay a holiday because of coronavirus, or perhaps cancel a sporting subscription such as Sky Sports if there aren't any live matches to watch? I'm joined now by Kate Hardcastle, a retail and consumer expert, and Rory Boland, editor of Which Travel. Thank you both. Rory, starting with you, what is the situation for people who've booked holiday flights and hotels? If they plan to visit Spain or Italy, for example, will they get their money back?
In most cases, they will get their money back. That's the good news. I heard your caller on there a minute ago. I think there's a lot of frustration with the information that they're getting, and I have some sympathy for the airlines in that they are simply overwhelmed at the moment. Their call centres and contact points are overwhelmed. But generally, the picture is positive for getting your money back. So those Jet2 customers, many of whom will have holidays and will enjoy package travel protection, should get a full refund. Those who just have flights will be offered either an alternative flight or a full refund as well. And we've seen all of the UK's major airlines, EasyJet, BA, Ryanair, introduce a cancellation waiver for passengers who want to rebook their flights as well. So in the last week, the picture has got more positive for consumers, and there's a lot more options now, either to move your booking or to get a full refund.
And Kate, what about season ticket holders at football or sports fans with TV sports subscriptions? Can they hope for any refunds?
Well, it's certainly something that the organisations have said they're looking into. Some of the smaller sports subscription television services have made note that they're going to be making an announcement soon. The larger ones haven't said anything as yet. But obviously choices could be maybe your membership could be suspended for a amount of time. Call them and see what your rights are. When it comes to larger gatherings like the event, concerts, sporting events, etc., everything's been affected. The larger gatherings, we tend to have some cover in terms of our tickets, and with a postponed event, we should be able to rebook for that postponed event, or indeed we should be able to look to get a full refund. But for smaller events, obviously it isn't always the case. And a note also for the people who are involved in that industry who are having significantly challenging times and also trouble dealing with the amount of inquiries they've got right now.
And Rory, what about that news that we've just heard for those hoping to travel or who were hoping to travel to the USA next week from the UK? They too are going to be banned by the US. What do they do?
Again, it's a fast-moving situation at the moment. What's likely to happen with the US is we will see the Foreign and Commonwealth Office come out and issue an advisory, and that's really crucial for your consumer rights and particularly around travel insurance. That will then allow you to claim from that travel insurance. For those people who have yet to travel to the United States, they'll be offered a full refund or again the opportunity to rebook. What I would say to those passengers in the United States who want to return home is to not accept the offer of a refund, is to look to be rebooked, because once you accept that refund from the airline, their duty of care ends to you. While you're waiting to be rebooked, the airline has to provide you with accommodation, food vouchers, and ultimately get you home, whether that's on its own aircraft or flights with rival airlines, or what looks likely, given the scale of this situation, rescue flights that may be needed.
And Kate, what advice would you give to people who are looking at the spring or summer, the year ahead, who might, for example, I don't know, have planned a trip to the Olympics in Japan or be wanting to go to Wimbledon to centre court? Will they get money back if that's cancelled or delayed?
Again, larger events do tend to have more clarity, more information on their websites, whereas smaller events, the information is slow coming through sometimes. Certainly, I've tried to contact some of the switchboards and operating call centres for some of these larger events to try and understand advice for consumers, because it's not always forthcoming. If the announcement's been made, for instance, in the case of the London Marathon, where there is a clear new date, then you have been offered as a runner a place within the new marathon date, on the new marathon date. But if that doesn't suit you, then you're able to get any costs back. But again, it's a knock-on effect to these industries. It's the vendors of the food and drink in these areas that could have huge impact on the business community. So whilst it might be a lack of us enjoying an event, there's whole industries that are going to struggle and suffer because of this.